It's funny because at first we were working with an agency again last summer, getting all of our ads like set up, and our media buyer said, "Hey, send me like 20 pieces of content like this." And so I sent him everything he asked for, and then I said, "And then please, can you test this webinar? It's like 4 minutes long." And he said, "Nobody, like, attention span is too low. Nobody's going to watch this, but I'll go ahead and give it a try." Well, it was our highest performing ad. And so I'm always like, everyone needs to have a webinar, whether it's 60 seconds long, a minute or 5 minutes or an hour long. Everyone needs to have a webinar. The psychology of the webinar is so powerful. So we actually have our own in-house team now, media buyer. Our whole marketing team is in-house. So we don't work with any agencies anymore. Um, and so people come to, we've also got what we're calling ugly ads. And so it looks like a Facebook post, but it's probably like a quote from one of our customers, or it's something that's more of a hook. And then the content in the copy of the ad is taking you down this rabbit hole. And so some of those are really working, but ultimately our webinar, or me face to camera with like a giant chunk of beeswax, we got to get people's attention. We've got like 3 seconds to do that now. So I got 40,000 pounds of beeswax in my shop right now. And so take a giant chunk of beeswax, and I'm like, did you know that the most powerful thing? And I've got the beeswax. Or even just like we talk about the dramatic demonstration, just taking the bar and like the whole time I'm talking, I'm just doing this. And it gets people interested. And actually, I did a perfect webinar in my talk at Funnel Hacking Live. And so we've spliced that 5 minute webinar. I had the sparkly shoes. I don't know if you were there, if you remember that, but that's one of our highest performing ads right now. We're just driving traffic to that thing. And I should be selling shoes too, because we've had hundreds of comments that are like, I want the shoes. Where do you get the shoes?
Could be the
Um,
upsell.
yeah. So, and then again, it's, yeah, just the webinar is the main thing. And then UGC, we've got, I think, two or three different platforms or plugins with Shopify, that are helping us to really cast a wide net. And so we're just getting our sea legs on that, like all that stuff dialed in.
Okay, awesome. So, in terms of the webinar, I know that what I've experienced a lot of times is like it's either free or it's paid, and then at the same time there is generally an upsell on the back end. And I'm curious to know, like, what's your value ladder?
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. Yeah, so they just watch the 3 minute, 4 minute webinar or whatever the information is, and it's always educational or edutaining. And once they go to the landing page, so we have landing pages now that are just super simple. We've actually been testing like carousels and all the different, we're taking one component at a time and A/B testing every little thing from headline to image to subheadline to copy to bullet points to everything. And so once they've purchased, we have one upsell, and this is part of like getting the right plugins and all the Shopify things, because I would love to have 3 or 4 upsells, but we have an upsell that's like for another 10% off, you can get another lotion bar. And I think we're going to even boost that offer. So we've been A/B testing the different upsell offers. And if they don't take that, then there's a downsell for the soap, which is a great complementing product. But earlier, and when we first launched in 2017, we had 3 upsells. One of the upsells was actually getting on to subscribe and save. So we're even just boosting our subscribe and save offer now, where you're going to get, another key thing is like getting people on it and then incentivizing them to stay on it. And so we're offering right now, it's just free shipping if you get on subscribe and save, but we're going to do, you get free shipping plus 15% off that first order. And then the second order, you're getting 20% off. So it's harder for people to be like, oh, if I get off, I'm losing that extra 5%. I have to get work back up to it again. And then you lose your points. So like, don't leave because you've got all these like credits, these points that you can use in the store. And if you get off subscribe and save, you're going to lose your points. And so really trying to make that sticky. And then we've got a really great just sort of win back series, and still working through our indoctrination sequence and our welcome series and all of that. Just testing emails now. We've gone from, we were having a pretty low click through rate in some of our emails, but we've gotten quite a few of them back up to like 62% click through rate. So making our, having our copy in our email, a lot of times it is long form. We're turning those into blog posts with multiple backlinks. But making it available in the very first three sentences where it's like, hey, if you want to skip to the end and just check this thing out that's going to benefit you, always has a benefit statement attached to it. Click here and it takes them to the landing page. So we're always looking for reasons, even in our text series. So our first week, if you subscribe to our messages, this is a really interesting fact, is one of our collaborators was working with another brand and said, hey, we started testing. We were getting like 18%, it was like conversion on our, or 18% of their revenue was coming from their texts. And they were sending one text a week. Cause I was like, we're in people's phones. It's a very intimate place. Like, I don't want to be sending them lots of text messages, right? And so they tested, they got to the point where they went all the way up to 3 text messages a day and 28% of their revenue. And this was like over $10 million in revenue of a difference for them because they're a bigger company. So in the first week when you subscribe to us, because people are interested when they first buy from you, they're like excited. We text 3 times a day. One of the text messages actually says comment story, and it takes them to the website and they get to see the story. Text us back if you have questions, and our team is actually interacting and engaging on text with them. And so uh, that's very, just engaging and always looking for reasons to get people to come to the site, and trying to keep the site so user friendly and not distracting. Things like, it's interesting because the carousel was like 50% lower conversion. So we took the carousel off of our product pages, our landing pages. So we're just doing all that stuff there.
So it sounds like you guys are doing a lot of helpful split testing then.
Yeah.
What kind of advice would you give to some of the newer entrepreneurs that are listening in terms of understanding the different elements that they should be split testing
Mhm.
and kind of how to navigate? Maybe they're in the beginning phases of everything and they don't have a whole lot of capital to invest into ads to split test, but kind of how to
Okay.
manage that.
Oh yeah, 100%. Well, that's another thing. Like, it's amazing to me how much has changed since 2020, when we were getting 2 to 3 on our ROAS, and now like we're happy when we get 1.5. When we're at like 1.5, we're excited about that. And so it's very costly now to acquire a customer.
If you want to save time on watching all the episodes, but still get all the gold nuggets that we find from interviewing these 7, 8, and 9 figure entrepreneurs, then you can get all of that inside of the 2 Comma Club newsletter. Just go to 2ccnewsletter.com and subscribe.